Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. It is Tuesday night. It's me, Gav, and it's Kev, and we're going to do some transfer stuff, but something a little bit different. What we're going to do is we're going to let the likes of Kev, who's starting this off tonight, and others as the week goes on. I think I'm gonna get Chris Bracken involved in this probably tomorrow night. And what we're going to do is we're going to give them the reins on Liverpool's summer, and and I don't want these words uttered by any people doing this. I think this is what they might do. That's not allowed. The
Nope.
rules is that I'm giving Kev the reins on Liverpool's summer, and he has to decide on goalkeepers, midfielders, defenders, forwards, fringe players, who goes out on loan, who comes in, has to keep it within a wage budget, transfer budget wise and stuff like that, be realistic. And by the end of it, we should have what Kev thinks we should do. Now, Kev has every right to come in here and go, bring in two, that's it, don't, and I'm not loaning out anyone. He's well within his rights to do that. I don't expect he will. Kev,
No.
I think this is harder than you think.
It is. I got home from work late. I sat down at about 6:30 and thought, right, I better start looking into this. And when I started looking into it, it was like one signing affects others and affects the balance of the side and how I want the side to play and whatever. So it's not a case of you could just go out and buy star names or what have you. You can't. The
Yep.
whole thing has to work. And there has to be a bit of logic behind it all. So there is it, I think, and like I said, this is how I would do it, and I fully do not expect anything to happen like this, but this is my night and my way of doing things,
This is your
and
life, Kev.
it's
So
not
Michael asked.
FSG, it's KSG tonight,
Yeah. So
so we're having some
what
fun with it.
what we're gonna do is Kevin Ball says, does the squad have to include homegrown players, non-homegrown? Yeah, he has to stay within.
Yeah,
Like, he has to get to the first day of the season where his squad has the proper amount of homegrown, non-homegrown, and then he can choose, who he wants to loan out. Does he want to bring a loan signing in? All that sort of stuff. Kev can choose it all. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do.
that's what we're gonna do.
I've just seen Chris Brack in the chat there. So, Chris,
He can,
um,
yeah,
strap yourself in, because Chris, you're having a go at this tomorrow, because I know Chris is available tomorrow night, so he can have a go at this tomorrow. And so, yeah, like I said, Kev or Chris, you'll see how this format goes, and then it's up to you. And nine. We said 9:30 tonight, and then Kev's
yeah.
reckoned the
My
internet.
fault.
But
My fault.
9:30 tomorrow night, me and Chris will be doing this again. But Kev's going to go first. So, Kev, I'm going to guide you through this, as in,
Okay.
this is where I want you to start, and you can make some decisions. I'll note the squad as it goes and who you're letting out and who you're bringing in, and we try to tally it up at the end, right? So,
Yeah.
Kev is director of football, says Kieran B. Yeah, more or less. So, Kev, I want you to start on goalkeepers. Alison Becker,
Yeah.
you have Queeveen Kelleher, and then you have the likes of Pitaluga, Yaros that are out on loan and stuff like that. Where are you going with? And I might make some arguments against what you're doing, by the way. Where are you going with goalkeepers? Because Alison, of course,
Well,
all interest from Saudi. You've got Queeveen
yeah.
Keller wanting to be a number one. Where are you going with?
Alison Stain. I'm selling Kelleher, but I'm selling Kelleher with a caveat
Okay.
that I'm selling him on a reasonable fee.
Mm-hmm.
I think in and around the 25 million euro mark, with a buyback option in 2 years' time at between 35 and 40 million.
Okay.
All right, that we get first refusal or a percentage of his sell on. So whoever's buying him is getting a good deal,
Mm-hmm.
and we're protecting ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to. I watched him again tonight. He's really good. He made some cracking saves tonight again for Ireland. And his distribution is brilliant. He's a top end keeper. My fear is that he'll go out, he'll be a number one, and he'll really kick on. And if we don't protect ourselves in getting him out the door, or getting him the right move for him, then I think down the line we're going to be kicking ourselves from every which way you can think of, because he has the potential to be one of the best keepers in the world.
Okay. So Alison stays. I'm on board with
Yeah,
that. Kelleher out
yeah,
for 25 million. Buyback with 35 to 40 million. in the next 2 years?
I think 2 years. Yeah.
Right. Can I? So I'll ask you a question in a minute. So you need a backup keeper.
Yeah, I'm keeping Adrian for a year.
You're keeping Adrian
I,
for a year.
I want experience, and I
Mm-hmm.
want. I don't think Yaros is good enough. Pitaluga definitely isn't good enough.
So
100%. And
are you
I
telling me you're going into next season with Allison and Adrian as number 2?
no, Adrian is a number 3.
Okay. So you're bringing in a goalkeeper.
I'm bringing in a goalkeeper. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
And where do
bringing
you?
in. I'm bringing in James Trafford from
Okay.
Burnley. He's
Uh,
England. I'm bringing him in probably for around the same fee as what you're selling Kelleher for. He's
so you're
England
saying
under
25
21, and
million there.
yeah, between 25 million to 30 million for him.
Okay.
I think he's good enough to be a number 2 with the potential to develop. I think with Burnley, he showed glimpses that he's a good shot stopper. He's very good with his feet. Watched him a lot for the England under 21s, especially in the tournament that they won last year. He was very good. He was probably the main reason England won it, or one of the main reasons they won it. He was very good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's unfortunate when you're playing for a side like Burnley and the kind of naive football that Burnley played last season. As a keeper, you're going to get exposed. I think he's better than that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is much better than that. I don't think he left Man City because he didn't want to be a number 2. I think he wanted to try first team football, and the offer came in from Burnley to be a Premier League keeper. Too good to turn down, but I think it was probably a little bit too young for him to go out and be a number 1. I still think he needs room to develop, and I think he'll get that with Liverpool.
Okay. Now, couple of things. James Trafford comes in for 25 million, but if you're telling James Trafford he's coming in for 25 million, he's up against Allison, right?
Yeah.
So he's not going to be number 1. And against that, you still have the
Nope.
keeper that's gone out that you're doing a buyback on in the next 2 years. So
Yeah.
James Trafford is probably up against Allison and Kelleher, who's somewhere else being a number 1, right? So can I offer an alternative to this?
Yeah, sure.
You loan Kelleher for 2 years.
Okay.
All right. So my alternative to this is you go into Kelleher, and I think he's on about 10 grand a week.
Yeah.
Right. You go into Kelleher and you offer him 50 grand a week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You loan him for 2 years, and you tell him that depending on where he goes, Liverpool will pay a fair amount of that wage, right? And if he comes back after 2 years and becomes the number 1, you are offering him X amount when he comes back.
Right.
Okay. So that means that you're not getting any money in, okay, but you're not losing the player, and it's not costing you 15 million to effectively loan him for 2 years.
Yeah. The only problem that I'd have with it is you cannot trust Allison to stay fit.
Yeah.
He trains like Casemiro.
Yeah. So no, what I'm saying is I'm not saying don't bring another keeper in.
Yeah.
But I'm saying don't do the James Trafford of 25 million. Do somebody else a bit cheaper.
Yeah, you could do that. The thing is, if you're going to get someone a bit cheaper, after watching a lot of how Slot plays, he wants to play with keepers that take risks with the ball to attract players onto him. So they have to be very good with their feet, and they have to be good enough to come in and be a number 1 in a side that's going to be challenging, for honours. So you have to be reasonably good. So to be able to bring someone like that in, and for them to be a number 2 is not easy. There's not many of them out there.
I think it might be easier to bring in
That's why I went with Trafford.
Yeah, I think I'm just thinking, would it be easier to bring in a cheaper alternative? Not to be cheap, but to allow you to bring them in and they know they're going to be a number 2. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying James Trafford wouldn't go to Liverpool and whatever, and Ashley's saying you have a 20% sell-on clause and a buyback option on Trafford. I don't think they're going to buy him back though.
No.
I think they have a buyback. I think they may have a buyback on Gavin Bazunu as well.
But I think they did that. City did that with all of their transfers out last year. And it's smart. It's the right way to go about things. And I think something we've done as well.
Yeah, look, Allison, Kelleher out for 25 million, buyback for between 35 and 40 million over the next 2 to 3 seasons. Adrian stays, James Trafford in for 25 million. So that's where you're going. Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
That's where I'm going with it.
I think a lot of people will look at it and go, yeah, You know, I don't think a lot of people are gonna. You might get someone kicking and screaming, mostly from Australia, Kev. But you know, other than that, I think there might be a lot of people that agree with you. So defenders, right? So let's go
Yeah,
through it, right? So you have Trent,
yeah,
you have Gomez, you have Bradley, okay, you have
yeah,
Kanate, okay, you have Van Dijk, you have Kwanzaa, you have Robertson, you have Simicas.
yeah.
I don't think I'm missing anybody there. I know there's some players,
No,
fringe players, but we get to
yeah.
them later on, right?
Get to them
So,
later.
are you? Let's start with Trent. Are you presuming Trent signs a deal?
Oh, yeah. He's the one I'd main focus on and extending.
Yeah.
He's the main focus of getting a player to extend,
Okay.
and he wouldn't be playing the majority of games at right back for me.
Okay. So, but the thing is, right? I think it's fair to say Thiago and Mata probably command probably
I think it was about
350
it was
grand a week.
yeah, between 350 and 400 grand a week.
Well, I'm going to say 350, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
but I'm going to tell you if Trent's signing a new deal, I'm taking 100 grand of that off you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So just keep that in mind, right? So Trent
Yeah,
signs on a new deal, but 100 grand of the money that you've saved on Matip and thing is gone, right?
yeah.
Joe Gomez.
Oh, he's staying.
Okay,
100% he's staying.
that's okay, no problem. What are you
Yeah.
doing, Connor Bradley? Same?
Yeah, same. Stay.
Yeah, yeah. Probably a right back with if you have an idea with
Oh,
Trent.
him and Joe Gomez would be right back
Okay.
between the two.
Kanate.
Yeah, he stays.
Okay, no problem. Van Dijk
Yeah, stays and extends.
and extends. Well, I'm
Uh,
going to take 50k off
two-
you.
no, you're not because he's 32. He'll maintain his wages for a 2 year deal with an option on a third, but it'll be on the same money that he's on.
So
Because at 32, you don't get a pay rise.
you think Van Dijk doesn't get any extra money to stay?
You don't get a pay rise at 32.
Okay,
You
no,
get to main, you get you
you're
get to
director.
maintain your
Yeah,
wage at
you're
32.
you're director of football, so people will react to this as they see fit.
Yeah,
Kwanzaa stays,
yeah, 100%.
Robertson stays, Simicas.
Gone.
Okay,
Gone.
yes,
I think you probably get between 8 and 10 million for him.
okay.
He's still a decent left back. He can do a job,
I think you get a
but
little bit more.
maybe you would. But I think when I looked at his on transfer market, he's in and around between 8 and 10 million euro. Because I mean, I know he's extended his deal last
Mhm.
season, but at the same time, I think it's right for both for the player and for us that
Okay,
we try to move him on. And I think you can make a deal for him at maybe even if you got 12 million out of it.
okay,
You know, you're getting your money back on him. Like,
okay. I'm gonna put 12 million pounds down, right?
okay,
Okay. So they're the main defenders.
yeah,
Are you bringing anybody in defensively?
bringing in two.
Okay, so you're bringing in two plus two,
Yeah,
who are
Kirkes at left
Kir-
back.
Kirkus.
Yeah,
Okay, and what's the second one?
Slotterback
Oh,
from Dortmund.
Slotterback.
Yeah,
The name not linked to us whatsoever. Okay.
not a clue. No.
Now, Shawnee made a point on Kirkes last week, and I fully agree with him. He said Bournemouth paid £18 million to this player.
Yeah,
In order to get him out of Bournemouth, unless Richard Hughes knows something, he reckons you're
Which
looking
is
at £30 million.
yeah, I reckon the same.
Okay. So that's £30 million. Okay.
Yeah.
How much are you offering him a week?
Oh, he wouldn't be on any more than 50 grand a week
At Liverpool.
at Liverpool at 18 years of age. Yeah,
Is that all he is for 18?
that's all he is.
Oh.
He's just turned 19.
Okay. So that's so let's write off Simicas versus Kirkes' wages.
Yeah,
Okay, I think
Yeah.
that's about fair, right?
Yeah.
And I'm no expert on who's on bleeding what wages. If people want to tell me, no,
but
Simicas on 80
it's
grand.
it's ballpark. Let's
Yeah.
put it this way: Bournemouth aren't paying him anything remotely close to that.
Okay. Now, Slotterback.
Yeah, he's not going to be cheap. You're looking at probably in and around the 65 million pound mark for him.
Oh, is he worth
He's
that?
not going to be cheap. I think he is. If you watch Dortmund in the Champions League this year, he's been very, very good. I think he'll have a good Euros with Germany as well. He's one of the he's probably one of the best left-sided centre backs, the left-footed centre backs in the game at the minute. But at 24, he's still got a lot of room to kick on. Plus, if you want to play not a back three, but if you want to play him at left back, where he sits as a left back, and you have Conor
Can
Bradley
he
on
play
the other
left back?
side, yes,
Okay.
yes, he's played. Well, he's played in the back three, so he can definitely do what your man is doing at Man City with Nathan Ake. But I don't listen. No, this is where I don't think. This is where I think you're going to have one or the other fullback go. Where if you're playing Conor Bradley, you play Slotterback, Van Dijk, and
just let me get this right in my head then, right? You're selling Simicast to bring in Kerkez, who presumably is going to be a backup to Andy Robertson.
Yes.
Right? Slotterback comes in, he's a left-sided centre-back. Are you telling me he doesn't start it?
Not every game, no. We're going to be playing 60-plus games a season. So not everyone is going to play every game.
What age is he?
24.
24?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see you. There's definitely an argument to be able to play him as your right-sided centre back in games as well, because Van Dijk has no problem being the right-sided centre or left-sided centre back who's right-footed. There is no reason whatsoever why you can't do that on the flip side for a right-sided centre back being left-footed.
Is part of you then forward planning for Van Dijk's departure in 2-3 years and Slotterback is 27?
That's part of it. The other part of it is Konate can't stay fit, and it's a lot to ask of Kwanzaa with the volume and the intensity of the games that we're going to be playing, especially being back in the Champions League, that he can't do it all. So you have to have 4 proper centre-backs.
Okay. You see, my argument is that you sign a right-footed centre-back that can play left side. That's
I get that.
I think there's and I'm not just saying you. I think there's an obsession with Liverpool signing a left-sided centre back, left-footed centre back. That's why Inacio and stuff like that's being linked, and others. Levi Colwell is another. I think Levi Colwell's more left-footed than right-footed. But my argument is sign one, that you can feel would be comfortable on both sides, and maybe Slotterback is good on both sides, so that's fine. But this is what you're going with. What sort of money is he on?
Again, Bundesliga, they don't pay huge wages, especially at Dortmund. But he'd probably come in on and around the 65, 70 grand a week mark. People are obsessed and think that everyone is on 100 to 150 grand a week. They're just not. I think Manchester United are the exception to the rule.
The reason why you pay more in England is because 50% of it goes on tax.
I know, but the average wage of a player at Manchester United is just a shade under £9 million a year. And Liverpool is a lot less, but it's heavily incentivized. So you might have a base wage of, say, 60, 70 grand a week, but it's heavily incentivized and you probably do earn more. Mm-hmm. And I think the way we do our wage structure is the right way to go. It's the right way to do it.
Can we put him down at 80? Because it feels like a nice
you can, of course, Yeah, you can, of course.
80k, right. Okay, so far, you have not made any money on the goalkeepers or lost money, right?
Yeah.
You've probably lost, I would say, 40 grand. I would say 40k a week. I'd say Trafford isn't coming in for anything less than 50 grand a week.
Right.
All right, so you've lost 40k there, right? You've lost 100 on Trent, which is 140. You've written off Simicast versus Kerkez, which is fine, and you've gone 80. So you've now lost 220 grand, right?
Yeah.
So you're 220 grand minus 220k in the red on wages, but you have got the 350 grand, so you have a little bit of a cushion still.
Yeah.
Okay. Midfielders.
Yeah, I'll make this really. I'll make this really simple. Right, midfielders, everyone is staying. Not selling anyone.
Okay.
There'll be some of the Fringe players going out on loan, but I add in one.
Okay, so let me just tell you. Endo.
Yeah.
Elia.
Yeah.
Gravenberch. McAllister. Szoboszlai, Jones. Who else have we got? There's loads of lads.
There's loads. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got some of the kids, Stefan and all of them as well, Bobby
So
Clark and all of that.
you've got Bojcetic.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else am I missing?
Well,
Endo,
Bobby
Elliott.
Clark.
No, hold on. Forget him for a minute. Who
So-
plays? Endo, Elliott, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Jones, Bojcetic. I feel like I'm missing one.
Missing one. Elliott,
No, I have Elliott. Endo.
McAllister, Jones.
Yeah, I have them all then.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or maybe I'm missing one. I feel like I'm missing a name there, and I don't know which name it fucking is. But then, so we get the fringe players at the end, right?
Yeah.
So we have Endo, Elliott, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Jones, Bojcetic. But Bojcetic isn't there. It feels like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We were playing with 6 midfielders last year. And
Yeah, but
3 away.
you couldn't really. Yeah, but you couldn't really count him because he was never there.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
if you take him away,
yeah.
were we only going with Endo, Elliott, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Jones?
Gakpo played in there now and again.
No, I'm not putting Gakpo in there. Szoboszlai. Okay.
No.
So you're keeping them all. You're keeping Bojcetic.
Yeah. Well,
and you're bringing in one.
Bringing in one.
Okay.
And he's not cheap.
Okay.
Is Paulinho from Fulham.
Paulinho from Fulham.
Yeah. And this is where it's Kev's squad, not Michael Edwards' squad.
Right.
Michael Edwards can go.
Paulinho.
Michael Edwards can go in a corner for a while. And not
okay. What age is Paulinho?
He's just turning 29.
Okay. I don't know what he has left on his Fulham deal, but there was talks of 70 to 80 million at Bayern Munich last year.
Bayern had an offer accepted at 65.
Okay, year less on his deal, 29.
A year less on his deal.
So I will put his price. What did you say? You agreed 65?
65.
I think you're looking at.
I think he's got
55.
Yeah, I think he's got 2 years left on his deal. What did I put him down as?
So he's going to cost you 55 million.
Oh, easy.
Okay.
Yeah, I had him down at 55 million euro.
Okay, pounds. We're dealing in pounds here, Kev. That's what Liverpool deal. So Paulinho at 55 million pounds.
Yeah.
And he's commanding.
He's got to be on about 120 grand a week.
Do you think that?
I'd say so, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Reason being is, look, I think long term that Gravenberch and or Bajcetic will be our heir apparent number 6. But you need a plug and play number 6 for now. It's about the only position on the pitch at the minute when you look around.
Darren Lyons says you're reducing the average age here by about 20 minutes.
I couldn't give a fuck. This is why it's Kev's squad, not Mickey Edwards.
No, and in fairness, like when you look, like, all right, Endo, right, fine, but Elliott, Gravenberch, even Szoboszlai, Jones, Bojcetic, maybe not McAllister, but they all are they're young.
They're young.
They're young. You probably need, if you're losing Thiago, and I know he hasn't played. I know he hasn't played an awful lot of football, but he's still experiencing around the squad. You don't want to be going with, here's a brilliant 19-year-old holding midfielder. I get your thinking on it. Ashley says he's on 80 grand a week of Fulham.
Yeah.
So we're saying 120k there.
I'm saying 120,
which will put you at minus 340k.
Yeah.
So now you've spent. I'll tell you what you spent in a minute before we go on for forwards. I'll walk.
No, that's fine.
So I think wages-wise, you've basically spent the Thiago and the Matip wages.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
You have 18. You've got 18 and 65, which is 83. That's 138 million pounds you've spent.
Yeah.
And you've... Sorry, no. Yeah, no, hold on. You've spent 18. You've spent 100... Yeah, what did I say? 133
138.
65, 85, 130... 85, 135, 140. I think it's 128 million you spent, including
Yeah.
selling Simicast at 12 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm all good with this. So
Okay. So
trust me.
let me just double check, right?
Have faith.
You're not losing any money on the goalkeepers, right? But you're 40 grand down, right? You're spending 95 on 2 defenders, but that's actually going to be 87. Okay? Because you're getting Simicast thing. So it's 180, 100, it's 140. 142 million you spent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's what you spent.
They really should let me lose with the credit card, you know.
100. Well, you've spent 142 million. You've got Kirk as a 30, Slotterback at 65 is a 95, and 55 is 150 million. Is that right? 95, 140, 150, which would leave 150 minus 12 is 138 million you've spent.
Yeah.
Right? That's taking out your Simicast money, and your wages are no worse off than this season. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. That would leave you then at the moment with Allison, Adrian, and James Trafford in goal. You would have Trent on a new deal, Gomez, Bradley, Konate, VVD on a new deal, Kwanzaa, Robertson, Kirkhez, Slotterback. And then in midfield, you would have Endo, Elliott, Gravenberch, McAllister, Sobbers, Lloyd Jones, Boycheta, and Polini.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So at the moment, we're going into the forwards, and you have spent net, what did I say? You've spent net
138.
138, right? So
Yeah.
you've net 138.
Mm-hmm.
And your quits on the wages. So now when you spend wages, you spend wages unless you sell, right?
Yeah,
so, up front, Gakpo, Salah, Nunes, Diaz, Jota. That's
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then we get to the fringe stuff after that. Up front, what are you doing?
I think Diaz goes. Okay. I would sell Diaz as well. I think he's 28 years of age, 2 years left in his contract. You're at that stage in his contract, in his career now. You either cash in or you extend, and you say you're finishing the best part of your career here.
Okay.
And
so Diaz goes.
Jota? I think Jota stays.
Nunes?
Stays.
Okay. Salah?
I don't think he'll accept a new deal. I think he's gonna go on a free next season.
Okay, but stays.
I would, if an offer came in for him in the summer, I would seriously entertain it.
Okay, we get back to Salah then. So just at the moment, 4 players remain, 1 goes. Diaz, what sort of price on Diaz?
I think figures I've seen banded around anything from 70 to 100. I don't think you're getting 100 million.
No, you're not.
Anyone's money for him.
No,
I think
you've paid 50 million for him 3 years ago.
Yeah, at best you might get 70 million, but I think it might be even less than that. But I would hold out for 70 for as long as humanly possible.
I had 60 million in my head.
Yeah, I know. I think you look around at what wingers, out and out wingers,
actually
go for.
Forget what I think. You're the director of football. What's the price you're putting on Diaz?
I think you'd have to put 70 million on it because of his experience and his ability.
Okay, so that will bring you down to 68 million there. But you have to. Who are you bringing? Are you bringing one in, I presume?
I'm not bringing a winger in, no.
Yeah, but you're bringing a forward in.
I'm bringing a forward in, yeah.
Okay, +1. Okay, so who is it you want to bring in?
I want to bring in Ivan Toney.
Oh. Jesus, what are the odds on that, Ivan?
He's got a year left in his deal with Brentford. He wants to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Brentford do not want to let him go for free.
Okay.
I think the fact that he's nearly had the bones of a season out, long term, is going to benefit him massively. When he came back at the tail end of the season, you could see he's a striker. You know what I mean? He's a proper 9. He's a finisher.
What price for the year in his left deal?
I think you could probably get him for around the £40 million mark.
I had
Uh,
okay.
I maybe even less, but
I think 30 million is probably about right.
I wouldn't be going any higher than 40, but I'd be starting at 30 and seeing what I could do with add-ons and incentives
Okay, so
to
let's.
try to sweeten the
Do you
deal.
want to split the difference at 35?
The 35, yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, and what sort of money is Ivan Toney on?
Oh, he's going to be on good wages. Someone would have to look it up in the chat to what he's on at Brentford, but
He's not on 100
at the
grand a
end of
week
the
at
day,
Brentford. There's no way.
he's no way. But
But I
you'd be
think
looking
what
at
age
maybe.
is he?
I think he's 27.
So it's a big deal for him. I think if you offer Ivan Toney 100 grand a week, I think he goes. I
I
think
think
he
you
goes.
get him, yeah. I think you get him. And bearing in mind,
Okay.
you're going for a lowish fee.
Okay.
So
Are we okay to write off Diaz against Tony in terms of wages because it's around the same
yeah,
ballpark?
yeah, it's got to
Okay.
be in and around the same.
So right now, like literally, you haven't gone up or down in wages.
Mm.
Okay, Ivan Toney. Now the only thing with Toney is the centre forward.
Yeah.
Right. What you're thinking? Like what you're thinking here?
I'm going to be playing 4-2-3-1, and I'm going to be playing Cody Gakpo in his natural position
On the left.
as his left-sided attacking midfielder.
Okay. Who you playing on the
And
right?
I'm playing Dominic Szoboszlai
Okay.
on the right.
Yeah.
Both backed up by Jones and Elliott. And as much as I would entertain the offer for Mo Salah, I think if you're going to play him, you play him in a 10.
Okay.
Or, see, the thing is with Salah, right, for me, he can't go past anyone.
But that leaves you. So if you put Gakpo on the left and Salah in a 10, and you're going to play Dominic Szoboszlai on that right hand side, that leaves you then with Ivan Toney, Darwin Núñez, and Diogo Jota as the alternatives for down the middle.
Down the middle, that leaves you with 3 strikers for 1 spot, and the other 2 are flexible enough that they can play. You can play Darwin on the left. You can play 2 up top if you want. You can play Jota in behind the striker. You can play Jota in behind Darwin or Jota in behind
Toney
Tony.
is 28, says Darren Lyons. Kevin Ball wouldn't touch Ivan Toney, but this is what
it's
all
not
about.
Kevin Ball's side; it's my side.
Exactly, it's not Kevin Ball's side; it's your side, and exactly like I hope all of Australia are watching now. They're just fucking waiting for this show to finish so they can get in the comments. So that's what you're doing there. So what you've really achieved overall is you've achieved 68. Okay, so you have a net spend now of 103.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what I think.
So I'm just gonna double check this, right? So who is Diaz at 70? Okay. Kelleher at 25. Okay. You've got Simicas at 12. And you've no midfielder. So what you are selling 107 million worth of players, right? And you were doing Tony at 35. You were doing Palhinha at 55. You were doing Slaughterback at 65. You were doing Kerkez at 30. And you're doing James Trafford at 25, right?
Yeah.
So that's 55, 80, 90, 155, 185, 210 million. So that leaves you with, so you're spending 103 million.
Yeah.
Nah. But you are breaking even on the wages.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a straight, really 100 million investment in the squad.
Yeah, that's coming down as well.
Okay.
We're getting that down as well.
Okay. So now we have the fringe players.
Yeah.
So let's talk about them. So you have Dans. You have Bobby Clark.
Stays.
Hold on, I'll just list them first.
Yeah.
Clark, McConnell. You have
Doak.
Scanlon. You have the lad that was at left back at Dundee.
Owen
Beck. Then you have the
Calvin Ramsey.
Calvin Ramsey. The other left back then. Big lad. Always forget his name. Always. Can't remember his name. He played left back in the cup game, and then Scanlon come on from. I always forget
You
his
were
name.
only talking about him the other night as
Literally
well.
last night.
Yeah.
Like last night I was talking about him. And I cannot remember his fucking name. Jerry reckons that losing Diaz, Adam Polina, Tony and Slaughterback is becoming a very slow team. Chambers is the name of the player I'm looking for. Okay. Right, so let me talk you through this. Dan's.
Yeah, he stays.
Okay.
I think
he stays, but you have a lot of centre forwards ahead of him.
Yeah, but it's not about now. He's for down the line.
Okay.
You got a new manager, and I want for the first 6 months, up until the January window, if you're going to be changing how you're setting up and how you're going to be playing, you've almost got to not uncoach the years that they've had under Klopp, because you're not going to do that, and you don't want to do that. But you're going to have to evolve all of these players into that you want to keep around for a few months to train, so that when they come back next summer, they're going to be right as rain and ready to go.
Paul says you're forgetting. Paul says you're forgetting Morton and Carvalho. I'm not forgetting them. I've actually put them to the side because they were out on loan. And then you've got I've left Vandenberg and Phillips to the side as well, because Phillips isn't even Fringe and Vandenberg is, we get onto him. So Bobby Clark. Yeah,
I like it. I think January could be definitely a case you could look to maybe loan him in January to somewhere in the Championship.
Okay, so you're keeping him for the moment.
Yeah, you've got to keep all of these guys who you want to keep long term for the first few months. Same.
Okay.
Few months. Yeah, he's had to pull out of the Scotland squad again. You need time for the medical staff and the coaching staff to physically work on him. I think there's something definitely wrong where he's played too much football. The last thing he needs is senior football at the minute, I think. It's way too much too soon.
Scanlon?
Don't know enough about him to say you put him out on loan or not. I just haven't seen enough of him, to be honest.
Yeah, very young.
That's the truth. He's very young as well. See, it's the thing. I think you can do a lot more.
You can say you can keep people, but it doesn't mean you're keeping them to be absolutely in the first team squad every week. You just want to keep them at the club to progress them, and then you can. They're probably not ready for a decision on them, sort of way, which is fair. Owen Beck. Now, Owen Beck's an interesting one because he's had 2 loan spells broken up in a very short spell. Around the January time, and I think he ends up in the Scottish Premier League team of the season. I think he's done these player of the year as well. So he's not coming back to go, listen, fuck off back there into the 23s.
Yeah.
So what are you doing
with him? You have to give him. I think with him you have to give him the option and say, look, we see you as a long-term future, but I think he's going to go the way of the same as kind of Jordan Ibe type thing. I think he's going to go. I think he goes in the summer. And it's only right. It's only fair for him. He's good enough to go and play first team football somewhere, but he's not ready for top 4, top 5, top 6 Premier League side yet.
Okay, so what are you looking to get for him if he's gone?
Yeah, for his sake, as much as possible. Probably, I don't think you're going to get much. I think you might get more down the line for him. I think you're probably getting 6 to 8 million for him, but you're looking to put loads of sell-on clauses. You're looking at a big sell-on clause and a potential buyback on him down the line. But I think that's
probably fair if you look at probably 5 million there, right? I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's fair.
Calvin Ramsey?
Same. I just think he's been so unfortunate with injuries that maybe he's just not physically ready at the minute. So again, he's another when you give the option. But I think it would probably be best for his career to let him go, to sell it.
Okay, so
but I don't think you're going to make much money on him.
Okay, we call it 5.
I think you'll get your money back for him.
Sam says I wouldn't be surprised if Beck is actually the Simicast replacement, which could be, but then you have Kev has Kerkez in there. Chambers, the left back.
Again, way too soon, way too young to be going out on loan. You keep him around the club to develop him tactically and everything like that.
Right. So you're not getting rid of any midfielders, and you've added Polina. So where does that leave Tyler Morton? My dog's having a
Tyler
breakdown.
Morton is definitely being sold.
Sold?
He's just not. Yeah, he's being sold. I think you have to cash in, and he
Yeah.
needs to play.
Does
But
somebody...
yeah,
The dog thinks he can see a cat here all day. He's fucking going mad.
don't. This fella
Pass
here, as I
back.
said, if he sees a cat, that's it.
Yeah, he's going mad.
He turns into a
I'm
proper
sorry. I
staffy.
apologise. But Tyler Morton, like, is that someone where you get someone in the championship that's seen him a hole and have decided, right, they're going to pin something on him? You know, like, is it someone that's gone down from the Premier League, says, right, we're
I
gonna
think
put 10 million on him?
I wouldn't be a bit surprised, and I think he could get more. I think he's a good player. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see a Burnley come in for him, or even a Sheffield United. I think he's better than probably Sheffield United because the
Okay.
way they style it's the way they play. But I think, or even if you're in the
Chris says the
bottom,
dog is fuming over the selling Morton, probably. But it's all Kev. I'm not selling him. It's Kev.
yeah,
So 10 million, I think, is a fair price on Tyler Morton, given what
yeah,
he's done in the championship, and somebody that's looking to probably get out of the championship or coming down from the Premier League would put that money on him. Carvalho.
another one the same. I think he needs to get on with his career,
Right.
and I
You
think
don't see it.
especially
You don't see it at
no,
Liverpool. Okay.
no, not at all.
So what price are you putting on Fabio Carvalho?
Probably around 15 million, purely because of his reputation and
Okay.
his potential. He does have potential, no
Okay.
doubt about it.
Okay. Van den Berg.
Yeah, he's another one. I really like him,
I
and
don't think
it's a
Liverpool
shame.
get 20 million for him.
No, I don't either. I think you're going to be looking at around the 15 million mark, and with add-ons on top to maybe bring it up to 20. But he's had a phenomenal season in the Bundesliga. He's tailor-made to play in a back three.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if he's your right-sided centre back in a back three, he'll do a good job. Apparently, Stuttgart are looking at him,
Okay.
and a couple of other German clubs are looking at him as well. So yeah, you'll have no problem getting a fee for him. He's a good
Okay.
player.
And then Nat Phillips. And I
Nat,
think we've covered
we're
everyone
not.
then.
Yeah, Nat Phillips. If he wanted to leave, you pay the taxi fare. You let him go.
Well, the thing is, like, we were
But
talking about wanting 10 million for him last summer, and I think he goes to Celtic. He's an unmitigated disaster there, and I don't think it's done
yeah,
nothing for him. I think if you get 5
no.
million for Nat Phillips now, you say good luck.
Oh yeah, I think you take anything. You take buttons for him at the
Okay.
minute just to get him off the wage bill. But I think unfortunately, no one in their right mind is paying him what we're paying him. So I think
Okay.
he stays and sees out his contract for free.
Okay. So if you get rid of Owen Beck, you get rid of Calvin Ramsey, Morton, Carvalho, Van den Berg, and Phillips at them prices. You're bringing in 5, 10, 20, 35, 45, 50, 55 million, right?
Yeah,
Which then leaves you with net 48 million for the summer.
yeah.
And I wouldn't be counting too many of their wages, to be honest with you. That they're
No,
they're
they're
not an
not.
awful lot in the bigger scheme of things. And to be honest with you, some of what we've talked about probably fluctuates, so let that be the buffer zone there. So what you're being left with, we're not going to fuck around because this dog is fucking doing me head in. What we're left with is a squad of Allison, Allison, Adrian, James Trafford. You then have Trent, Gomez, Bradley, Canati, Van Dijk, Kwanzaa, Robertson, Kirkhead, Slaughterback. You have Endo, Elliott, Gravenberch, McAllister, Soboslai, Jones, Boychettage, and Polina. And you have Gakpo, Salah, Nunez, Jota, Tony. That's your main
Yeah,
squad, okay? As I said, that leaves you with... And then you keep Dans, Clark, McConnell, Doak, Scanlon, and Chambers at the club. And maybe looking at
yeah,
loans later in the season, depending on how things are developing. And you sell off Beck, Ramsey, Morton, Carvalho, Van den Berg, and Phillips. And that leaves you with a net spend all in of 48 million quid, and basically the wages at the club don't change.
yeah.
Do you know what? I don't agree with all of it. I'm going to be honest. I
No,
don't agree with it.
yeah, that's
And
fine.
that's absolutely fine. Like, we very rarely agree. But the thing is, like, in fairness, like, when you look at the numbers make sense in a Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, FSG sort of world. You know,
Yeah,
people will argue is the upgrade of centre back enough? Is Polina's age? Maybe Tony, whatever. But that's what you're looking at. That's your point of view. But what you've done there is, I think you've come back with a very realistic amount of net spend. Right now, I'm not a fan of net spend. Right, I'm only giving it to you in that context of what you're looking to get out and what to bring in. Net spend is a bit of a bullshit for me. But when you look at it, you have you've lost Simicas, but you've added 2, which replaces
Simicas and Matip.
Yeah, and then you've lost Thiago and you've brought in Polina, and you're losing Diaz and you're bringing in Tony. So you're not losing any. You're not losing anything in regards to numbers. The outlay overall is very reasonable for Liverpool. But yeah, there you go. Johnny Doyle says 6 out of 10. Sorry, Kev. Well, that's what it's all about. Agreeing or not agreeing. I wouldn't agree with it all, but I think the biggest standout of it is actually there's quite a bit of movement there with regards to bringing people in. There's a little bit of movement. But it's still only 50 million quid spent overall. Now, Richard Hughes, according to certain journalists, is looking for, big upgrades. Big upgrades during the summer. That's going to cost an awful lot of money. But I'm not 100% against it. Kevin Ball says 8 out of 10. I mean, Tony brings it down from a 9, Kev.
Here's the thing, right? If I'm putting the starting 11
Sorry, Kev. Sorry, Kev.
Yeah, fine.
Give it over. Look at me. He's looking at his own reflection in the door. That's what he's doing. He's backing at his own reflection.
If I'm playing a 4-2-3-1, right, at the start of the season, and I'm playing Alisson in goal, play Joe Gomez at right back, with Konate, Virgil, Kirkes at left back, Palhinha and Trent in the middle of the park, McAllister in a 10, Szoboszlai on the right, Gakpo on the left, and Ivan Toney up front. I think you're solid. I think you've got a goal threat from all across the front four, and you have enough quality in there to dominate possession and win games, and you have enough ammunition on the bench to affect it.
Right. Couple of comments. Jerry says, I love Kirkes and Trafford in them roles. Schalterback okay. Polina and Tony, both massive no's for him. Darren Lyons says 70 million for a 29-year-old is madness. We didn't say 70, we said 55. That one better spent on a younger model. Yeah, but that's fine. But like Kev's argument here is there's a lot of youth in that midfield, and that experience of Polina coming in, who is an absolute 6, that sort of way. Why don't we just go and sign Romeo Lavia for 50 million? Do you know what I mean? That'd be my argument. Sam's main negative for Tony, for me, is just his gambling issues. We can't afford him to get another ban. That's why FSG definitely wouldn't do that deal, in his opinion. But look,
the only thing I'll say on Ivan Toney is Ivan Toney's a finisher. He's a striker. He's a clinical finisher. He's experienced, and he's mature, and he knows his game inside out. And if you give him the service, he'll score goals. And I'm not wedded to Ivan Toney, but I think we could, if you want to play with an out-and-out 9, then go and get an out-and-out 9.
You see, this is the thing, right? Now, this is only backed off about 11 minutes of footage I've watched of Feyenoord last night while I was talking to yourself.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And we are actually all watching highlights of Feyenoord in the school. We are literally all knocked on the same highlights at the same time. And I literally picked out a few bits from highlights, right? It was a 6-0 win against Ajax, and I think it was a 3-2 win away at Ajax. And I watched it against Ajax because Ajax are one of the bigger teams in the country, or well, not probably the biggest in Holland. And the thing about it was, right, what I found was, I don't know if their centre forward gets enough credit, and I'm not even saying he's very good. I just think he's very unselfish. And what I noticed against him when he played Ajax and he beat them 6-0 was, do you know when you see a striker that's a trigger for a press, right? Or he's a trigger for this? He's actually the trigger. This guy for him, in my opinion, now I could be talking absolute nonsense. But he was the trigger for what the wide men are going to do. So, when a wide man gets it and he goes outside the defender, he's your trigger for as a forward to get across the front post, or if he's on his good foot, pull back to the back post, whatever it might be, right? When I was watching, is his name Jimenez?
Him
Is
and
it
I think he's Mexican. I think
yeah, yeah. Is it
he's South
Jimenez
American
or
anyway.
something like that, right? But basically, what was happening was every time that wide men got it, he made the decision for them. So what
Yeah,
happened is, if he stayed central when they got it, they literally went, right, Grant, no problem, I'm going past this defender. If he made a run behind the fullback, he basically went, I'm leaving all this space for you to come inside now and do damage. Do you know what I mean? And which left Ajax all over the place. So he was actually
yeah,
very unselfish in what he was doing. So 50% of the time he was making space for someone to go at Ajax and try to score themselves. Or 50% of the time he was saying, no, get outside him. There's room in here for a cutback. And maybe a striker like that, that's where I think Jota could be perfect. But
oh
Nunes,
yeah, 100%.
but Nunes could be something that you work on. And look, that's only me going. That's only me looking at literally
Yeah,
11, 12 minutes of footage. But what I
yeah.
did notice
My
about them
my
was,
only issue with Jota,
yeah,
I say my only issue with Jota is, and it's the only issue you can ever have with him, is his body always lets him down,
yeah,
and he's so good.
yeah,
His movement is brilliant. He's got everything. He's got all the tools. He scored again tonight. You know, he's ridiculously good.
yeah.
But what can you do with him? What
Ah,
can you
look,
do?
I
You know?
think you have to take the gamble. You just have to with him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was just interesting watching them. The other thing I noticed about Slots Feyenoord was they hate passing the ball backwards. Like they
Yeah.
win the ball in midfield. There was one thing last night where it was mayhem going on in midfield. Their midfielder picked it up. Ah, fuck off, annoy me, will you? And he picks the ball up. He picks the ball up midfield. This guy, he's facing his own goal on the halfway line with an Ajax fella hanging out of him, and he literally decides, no, I'm going to take 3 touches here. That's going to turn me around this guy because we're going forward. And that's the thing, Liverpool. You know, like Liverpool like to control, and they do like to keep the ball Feyenoord, but they hate passing it backwards. Once they have it on
Yeah.
halfway, I think they want to go forward with it and they want to move. But
Yeah. Off the ball, they're very much 4-4-2.
yeah,
Off the ball, whoever's playing in the 10 literally becomes 2 strikers. You go into a flat 4 midfield and a
yeah,
flat back 4. So if you've got a Gakpo and Szoboszlai as your right mid and left mid, with Trent and Palhinha in the middle of the park as your narrow 4, and any version of 2 up front, you'll probably won't win the ball as high up as what we are used to watching. But when you do win it back up, you've got 2 up front that you can hit, and you've got players in the middle of the park that can hit from a decent area as well. So
yeah. Now look, I've enjoyed this because it's not what I would have went with. I think tomorrow night is Wednesday, isn't it? I'm gonna let Chris have a go. I might get someone on to host while I have a go. Maybe you can host Thursday,
yeah,
and I can have my go.
yeah, sure,
And then I think
no
Matt
problem.
wants to come and have a go. We might try that on Friday because I know he's all over the place with work at the minute. Fair play to my wife. She's just come down and built with the dog. She hasn't built with the
Yeah,
dog.
yeah,
I
yeah.
promise, Jesus Christ. She hasn't built with the dog. She's literally just told the dog to fuck off out into the back garden. Wherever you can see out there, go out and hunt it down.
So
Um,
the real boss is the
the
real
real
boss has
hero
arrived.
has arrived here.
And
Yeah, she just came in and went,
the,
get out that back. So Johnny says that dog's going in the freezer. That dog sees something outside. So Kieran, Kevin Ball says, Jesus, Matt must still be out in that garden. Yeah, there you go. But look, I've enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. That's Kev's squad. So if you don't know it, here it is again one more time. Allison, Adrian, James Trafford, Trent Gomez, Bradley Canate, Van Dijk, Kwanzaa, Robertson, Kirkes, Slotterback, Endo, Elliot, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Jones, Bojcetic, Pellinia, Gakpo, Salah, Nunes, Jota, Tony. He has ended up more or less breaking even on the wages, and he has spent £48 million net after everything that's happened. Hit the like button if you've watched. Leave a comment for Kev.
Please.
if you're listening on the download, listen, by all means, get on to us across all our social media and let us know what you think. Tomorrow it's Chris Brack's turn. It's my turn on Thursday. I'll try get Matt for Friday, and we go from there. I might actually do one on Sunday where the three lads have to the three lads might
Keith
have
will
to.
just sell. Keith will just
He
sell
will sell
everything.
everything.
No,
He'd be selling the statues outside the ground. He'd be selling everything. He'd be trying to get a lease on the Albert outside. He'd be getting rid of that. There'd be all sorts of stuff going on. He'd be like literally send back the new Anfield Road.
yeah.
He'd be doing all that sort of stuff.
Bring cans for Sunday night, because that will take time.
It will take time. It will take time, but I'll
But
make them.
well,
I'll make them last through. I'll make them last through.
yeah.
Right? Or
Well
what I
worth
might do is I might just bring one of them on Sunday, and let's the two of them do it during the week. It might be 2 men shows going for the next week or so, because look, it is the summer.
I don't think anything's going to happen between now and
There's nothing
the
happening at
Euros.
the moment. The Euros is coming. We are going to do some stuff for the Euros. We're going to do some watch-alongs and stuff, because people ask for them, so we only really do them when tournaments come up. We'll do a couple of watch-alongs as well. And that's been it. Anything else before we go, Kev?
No, all good.
No?
All good.
Okay.
All good.
If there is by any chance 8 to 9 people out there or companies that would like to donate €100 towards our fundraiser for the golf day, have their company name across all our social media and on the course on the day, please let me know. Talkin Kop, TalkinKop1 @gmail.com. Email us. It's £100. We'll put your name up in lights all across our social media. We'll thank you, and every single penny of it will go towards fan support and food banks and the Lighthouse. And you know what? If we get over a certain amount, whatever's left over that certain amount, we may make a donation into Phil's one then as well, to keep that ticking over as well. So listen, it might be yourself, it might be a friend, it might be a company, it might be the L one down in the deli that you get your breakfast roll off, and you go, here, why aren't you have loads of money? Would you not give us £100 towards that? It could be anything. Help us out, because like literally, if we reach a target on the day, it's probably between 2 and 3 grand we can put into the total, which is a huge sum that we can put in towards 10 grand. So I'm throwing it out there. Let us know. Right, that's it. We're out of here. Kev, thanks a million. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 9:30. Me and Chris Brack, if his internet works. If it's like Kev's internet, it'll be 10 to 10. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.